Hello, everyone. I'm here for a review of Multiverse of Madness. So, I'm going to start off with the positives and then get into some of the things I didn't like as much with the movie. So, first of all, I have to warn you there are spoilers in this review. Major spoilers. Yeah, I'm going to spoil like pretty much all the big things. Pretty much. So well, maybe not all. Anyways, there's spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, just watch this after you watch the movie. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So, I'll just start off with saying the cameos in this movie were fun with the Illuminati. They weren't overdone. They didn't really take away from Doctor Strange himself. They came in and they died, which I guess added to our feeling of intimidation to Wanda in the movie. So yeah, they were fun. I especially like Captain Carter and Professor X. That other guy, I forgot his name, and Captain Marvel didn't do as much. Weren't as interesting, I think. But yeah, I think Professor X especially was great, and Captain Carter. Yeah. So another big thing, and this is another big thing that I loved about this movie, or that was done well. I'll say that's done well. Was like the horror aspect of it, and we have Sam Raimi coming in, who I heard is a big guy in the horror industry. I haven't really seen any of his movies other than this and his Spider-Man movies. But yeah, I heard he's big in the horror industry, and he did it well. He didn't overdo it for an MCU film, which they're all in the PG-13 range. They're all PG-13, and I think it should stay that way. In my opinion, I know some people might want it to go darker. I think it should stay in the PG-13 range. He did a good job of not making it go too far, but still making us feel the suspense with some of the moments with the horror. And there were some heavy-hitting deaths in this one. Like, when someone died, oftentimes you could really feel it. Not every time, I would say. Because I heard in other reviews, people were like, yeah, every death hit hard. And it wasn't exactly like that for me. But they did hit. So yeah, Sam Raimi did that very well, and I guess that's his thing, so that makes sense. So another thing, or the big thing about this movie, is Doctor Strange's arc. That's the main part of the film. So obviously, it's a Doctor Strange movie. And this took me some time to think about. After coming out of the movie, immediately I didn't really feel like he had that much of a change as a character. Because it was quite subtle how they did it, at least in my opinion. Like, either it was subtle, or I'm just dumb. So, yeah, you can decide which one you think it is. But what made me really realize in my head what his arc really was, how that connected to the rest of the film, while I was thinking, okay, how did Doctor Strange change from this movie? Was that line that Wong said near the end of the movie. He's like, I think, I'm paraphrasing. He talks about like how he sometimes wonders about other versions of himself, other lives he had, but ultimately he's grateful for the one he had. And that's a theme throughout the movie. With the villain, Wanda, she wants more out of her life. She wants to go to a reality where she can have what she wants. She can have her life with her kids. Multiple times in the movie, Doctor Strange is asked, "Are you happy?" And he sees a bunch of other versions of himself. He thinks about he's tempted with the possibility of being in a reality where he can be with Christine. And all these things, they play into that theme. And I think it wasn't really obvious what his arc was for me. And I think the whole reason for that is the movie is very fast paced. It goes from plot line to plot. It goes from like scene to scene, pretty quickly, I would say, and it doesn't take time to develop the characters' arcs and all that. So it's not super obvious what they are. And I think the only arc in this movie that really was done well was Doctor Strange's. Yeah, the other main one was Wanda's. I did not love what they did with Wanda. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah, so yeah, I think a big reason I didn't really see right away what Doctor Strange's character development in this movie was is because it's very fast paced, and they don't really spend time with the characters. I feel like it's very plot driven, and I feel like this movie really needed to spend more time with the characters, especially Wanda. Um, yeah, Doctor Strange maybe less so. Maybe a little bit more so we could really understand what his character arc is more easily because it was a bit difficult for me. So yeah, now I'm gonna talk about the villain of this movie, Wanda, and why I think she should not have been the villain. Or, okay, I think they could have done her well as a villain, but they didn't. So I think what they would have needed to do is shown some of Wanda's time between the end of WandaVision and the start of this movie. Because at the end of WandaVision, she does the right thing. She sacrifices her children and Vision and that life that she really wanted for the people of Westview. She does the right thing, right? And that was her arc through the show. And that's where they ended the show. And then we had the post-credit scene. I guess that's where we left off with Wanda. But for the purposes of this review, let's just say they ended like last time we saw Wanda, she made the right choice. She made the right decision. Now, in Multiverse of Madness, we see that now she's going back on that decision that they spent the whole show of WandaVision having her make. That she can't just have what she wants at the expense of others. And now in this movie, that's what's happening. She is trying to take what she wants at the expense of at the expense of another version of herself. And other people trying to stop her. So I think partially that, or a big factor into that, is because she is corrupted by the Darkhold, right? But I think something that they should have done, in my opinion, is try to see more, like, make her seem more conflicted in her decisions. Because, like, in the movie, I didn't get much depth from Wanda. And we got that in WandaVision. And I feel like, yeah, a lot of the depth was taken out of Wanda, and she was just this villain. She was just this evil character, just going after what she wants. Which just sort of makes the whole plot of WandaVision irrelevant. The whole show, her whole character development is irrelevant, pretty much. So yeah, if we would have seen more confliction between Wanda, even something that would be really cool that they could have done is Charles Xavier. So there's a scene where he goes in Wanda's mind, the variant Wanda, and he tries to pull out that variant Wanda from under our Scarlet Witch's influence. Now, I don't know exactly how they would have done this, because our Wanda is not right in front of him. But I think something that would have been really great for them to do in this movie is for Professor X to go into our Wanda's mind, and maybe we could have seen two different like versions of Wanda, like the version of Wanda that we saw at the end of WandaVision, with her character arc complete, and then the corrupted version of Wanda, version that is corrupted by the Darkhold, right? And yeah, and then that would have made the end of the movie where Wanda destroys the Darkhold in every universe. That would have made that moment more impactful, because hopefully in this version of the movie that I'm sort of fantasizing about, Wanda would realize by the end the hurt that she's causing. She would see how scared Billy and Tommy are of her by the end of the movie. And then that, like, good side of Wanda, the side that we saw at the end of WandaVision, would come out, and she would destroy every Darkhold because of the influence it had on her, because of the pain that she caused people because of it. And I think that would have been much better for Wanda as a character. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think they would have had to kill her off then, which I think they did in this movie. I mean, that's what it seems like it happened. She was crushed by this big temple place, so it seems like she's dead. And I think the purpose of that was like she's destroying every version of the Darkhold and herself, which is corrupted by the Darkhold, so the Darkhold doesn't like harm people anymore. But if they did what I suggested, with more of the good side of Wanda coming out, I don't think they would have had to do that. So yeah, overall, it was a decently enjoyable movie. It was enjoyable. Yeah, and I think Doctor Strange's arc was done well. But yeah, I think there's a lot that could have been done way better. Yeah, and I think it overall was too plot driven, and I would have preferred a more character driven story, because at least in my opinion, and at least in my opinion, I think that's what makes a good story. So overall, I'll give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. It was decent. So yeah, now I'm going to rank this movie in my ranking of Marvel movies and shows. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one right under Age of Ultron. Yeah, so it's my third favorite Phase 4 movie. Yeah, I think Spider-Man No Way Home and Shang-Chi beat it. Yeah, there's probably people that would put it at second. A lot of people probably put it at second. Yeah, but I think I just enjoyed Shang-Chi, like, so much from front to finish. Yeah, and I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than this movie. So, yeah, that's it for this video. Tell me in the comments section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you think this movie is too plot-driven? And not character-driven enough? Do you agree with me that you don't think Wanda should have been, or you don't think Wanda was a good villain in this movie? And yeah, just tell me in general, what are your thoughts on this movie in the comment section down below. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.